Hello, in this video we're going to be talking about how to find missing lengths from either rectangles or squares and if we've been given either its perimeter and area. So first to answer that question we need to know, well, what is a perimeter? So to think of a perimeter, it's the idea of if this was a paddock with lots of sheep and cows in there, the perimeter would be the fence that would go along the outside of the paddock to keep the animals in. So perimeter is always the edge of the shape. So to solve the perimeter, the idea is you need to add all of the lengths together. So I've got the width here, which is 3. So I'm going to write it as a W. So width plus your length, which is my 7, plus your width plus your length. Yeah, so plus this and plus this. So when you add all of the sides together, you'll get your perimeter. This is for a rectangle or a square. They both have 4 sides, so that's the rule. Because I've got 2 W's and 2 L's, I know that if I wanted to, I could just cross these out and just do times 2. So if I find out the width and length added together and times 2, it'll work. So let's try. I won't do the times 2 method. I'll just try and add them together. So what these little lines here mean, so you can see these, I've got a 1 here and I've got 2 lines here and I've got 1 line here and I've got 2 lines here. They just mean that the opposite, that whatever shares that same line will be equal. So if this is 1, it means this will be identical to that side. So that means that has to be 3. Yeah. If this one down here with the 7 has the 2 lines on it, it means wherever you find 2 lines, it means it'll be also 7. So here's my 2 lines. Yeah. So now I can add them all up. So I've got my width, which was 3, plus my length was 7, plus 3, plus 7. And I do that all together, and that'll be 20. So I say 20 centimeters because these were in centimeters. It's always good to know what it's measured into. What area is it's thinking of whatever the measurement is, so in this case it's centimeters, is thinking of those but as little squares. So if I zoomed in my rectangle and I added in a 1, or it's probably going to be like this big if this side right here is worth 3. Well, if I was going to draw accurately, it's probably like, this is a 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter square. So I call it 1 centimeter square. And I want to fill this rectangle up with 1 centimeter squares. So I put in another one and another one. So I've got 3 centimeters squared so far. And the idea is I want to fill up the whole rectangle until it's fully colored in with squares. So that's what area is. It's just wanting to fill up something with square something. So here we're doing square centimeters. It could be square meters. It could be square kilometers. So that's why when we write the answer, it has a little 2 on it. A little 2 right here because it's showing it's a square. It's length and width, not just length. So that's what we also call dimensions. Yeah, so just length going this way is 1 dimension. Yeah, if you're a fan of Harry Styles, 1 direction. If we're doing 2 directions, so length and width together, making an area, we now call it 2D. Sorry, Harry Styles, you've now gone. So to solve area, it's all about length times width. We times them together. So we had 3 times 7, which equals 21. And because it's squares, its area, I need to write centimeters and then a little 2 to show it's now 2 dimensions, not 1 dimension. I'm looking at length and width, not just length. So that's what area and perimeter basically are. So let's go down here. This question here is saying, all right, we've got a weird looking shape here. We've got 2 paddocks put together. What do we do if we have missing angles here. So I've got, I don't know, and what I call these, I can call this measurement right here, I can call it A to B, or AB, because it's the measurement between the two. So I want to solve what that question mark is right there. So to do that, we also can see that we've got little lines here showing that it is a square. So I could put a line here and I could see that they're all identical. So if first of all I want to know what this question mark is, I could just see, well, what has it given me so far? So it's shown me that right here is 5, which means that will be 5 and this would be 5. Yeah. I can see that this is 3. So if I just add 5 plus 3, I'm just adding these two, that would be having the 5 right here, okay? And I can see that this line would be the same as this line because they're opposite each other. It would be like me doing this. They'd have to be the same because they're adjacent. So that gives me 8. So I know this A to B is 8 centimeters. If I wanted to know, well, what is this? So I'm going from B to F. Well, what do I have? So I know that from here to here is 5. So I just need to find out this little mini bit here, and it says it right here. I've got 2. So if I wanted to, I could, put a 3 dot here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I know they're identical, so that has to be 2. So what I'm doing, I'm just doing 5 plus 2. Yeah, I'm just doing 5 and 2 together to find out the whole length. And that equals 7. So it was 7 centimeters. So it's all about knowing what do you know about the shape and then solving it. All right. Third step is what do we do? How do we find a missing length if we are only told its perimeter and one side? So for this shape, it's told us, well, its length is 8 centimeters and its perimeter is 30. Remember, perimeter just means that it's this length here plus this width plus this length plus this width will equal 30. So method 1 will be the way that most of our textbooks will show us to do it. So the idea is, well, let's say, well, if I do 30, which is my perimeter, divided by 2, what it's going to tell me is it's going to tell me this side here, this width, and it's going to tell me this length here. It's going to put both these blue together. It won't tell me what this and this are, but that's okay, because I know if I add those on together, it would make 30. So I just want to know what half of them are, so I know what at least my length and width are. So if I do that, it equals 15 centimeters. So now between this 8 centimeters and this W, it has to be 15. So that's what I know so far. And then I know for this length, well, I know it'll be 8 because it's opposite it. And this width will be identical to this width, but we don't know what it is yet. Besides the point, to work out what the width is, so I already know that these two blue lines added together will be 15. So how do we separate it? Well, I subtract. I do the opposite than add. So if I do 15, take away 8, which is my given angle or length that I know so far, then I'll be able to work out what the width is, because whatever's left will be the width. So 15 take away 8 would be 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So it's 7. So 7 centimeters. So that means this width is 7. And we can just double check the answer by just saying, well, 8 plus 7 plus 8 plus 7. And that does equal 30. So I know I'm correct. Brilliant. If we were told, well, let's find out the area. Well, remember, area is just length times width. So it's just 7 times 8. Yeah, so I've got my 8 here. I got my 7 here. My 7 here. It's just one side times the other side, or the two bits that are blue that I've highlighted there. And that is 56, isn't it? I hope it is. And then don't forget the little 2 to show that it's full of squares now. Method 2 is sort of idea, but it's just not doing the division step. Method 2 would just be if I only knew that the perimeter was 30 and that was 8, well, I could say, well, if this is 8, then that means this is 8. So that means so far if I add them together, so I've got 8 plus 8 equals 16. And I know I need to get the answer to 30 eventually. I'm going to have to add something and add something to equal 30. So that this step is just sort of going, well, what can I do? Well, I could just, because I don't know the answer, I could subtract. So I could go, well, I got 30, take away 16, which equals 14. So I know that this and this have to equal to 14. And then I could halve 14 to make them 7, because this will have to be the same as this. So I'd halve it to work out what they are. But together, that'd be 14. And the answer was 7. So that was the other method of doing it. So step 4, what do we do if we've told that a square and a rectangle share the same perimeter? So we don't know what the perimeter is, but we know that these shapes share the same perimeter. If this one was 10, then this one's 10. So what would we do first? So, well, I know for a square, all of the sides are going to be identical. So if this is 12, it means this is 12, which means this is 12, which means this is 12, because it's a square. They've all got that little one line on them, so it means they're all identical. So first of all, I can tell what the perimeter is already. I could either go 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, which is perimeter when you add them all up, or because they're all identical, I could just do 12 times 4, because that's what times is. It's just adding multiple times. So I'll do that, and the answer is 48. So I know the perimeter is now 48. So I know the rectangle is now, perimeter is 48. So you can only do this, by the way, on questions where it says that they're the same, because they might not be the same, so you can't. It doesn't work in all cases. So first of all, what's the perimeter? Well, it is 48, because I just worked it out on the square. Now to work out this missing angle, well, we can do just what we did before. So I could try the second method, which was, well, I've got 48. If I divide that by 2, I'll just work out this line and this line together, and I won't know what this is or this is, but that's okay. I don't need to know those two. So 48 divided by 2 would be 24. So I know between this line and this line is 24. They share 24 together. Because I already know that this line here is 8, because up here is 8. So then I know that I just can work out the missing one by just subtracting. So I've got 24, take 8, and that will give me my missing length. So 24 take away 8 should be should it be 18? 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Or 16, I don't know where I got 18 from. So 16 centimeters was our width. So I could say W equals 16 centimeters. For step 5, what do we do if we have been given the area? So now we haven't been told the perimeter, we've been told the area. So it's saying on this rectangle, the area is 21 centimeters squared. Remember, area just means I'm filling it up with squares. So it's just length times width, yeah? L times W. So what do we know so far? We know the width right now, so we've got 3 times my length. I don't know it yet, so I'm just going to write it as L so far. And then equals, to work out area, is 21. This is what we call here algebra. When you've got numbers and letters of the alphabet, and the letters are symbolizing a number that we don't know. This is what algebra is called. We'll look at that more this year. So to work out something like algebra, you can just move your numbers around. So if I got my 21 and wanted to bring it and swap it with my L, I just need to know what's the opposite than times. And the answer is division. So if I want to rewrite it, I could say, well, I want to do 21 divided by 3 equals L. Yeah, I've just swapped the division and times symbol so that I could move the numbers around. So that's the general idea of algebra. So I can do that. So I've got 21 divided by 3, which equals 7. So my length is 7. Hooray. And then perimeter, I know that now this is 7 and that's 3. So I add them all together. So 7 plus 7 is 14. And then plus 3 and plus 3 would be 6. So that's 14 plus 6 is 21. And, oh, hold on. How'd that happen? Yeah, sorry, not 21, 20. So yeah, you can't ever have the area and perimeters the same. That would be crazy. So there you go. It's sort of bizarre that our area and perimeter is so close. I don't know how that happened, but let's just keep going. So now we've got our square here. We don't know what the width is, but I know they're all going to be identical. So one way to do it is just know what your square numbers are. We also can call this a square root, but I won't go into that. So you're just saying, well, what times itself equals 25? So I know that 5 times 5 equals 25. So yeah, at least at the grade 6 level, these types of questions should be really easy. They should only give you square numbers. It's not going to have weird decimals like you would have to do with square roots that look like this. But don't worry, they're not going to do that in grade 6, so you'll be okay. I might teach you another day how to do that. And then perimeter, I just now know that this is 5, right? So 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 20. Yeah, just add them all up. All right, and that is it for today. Hopefully you're now prepared for finding missing lengths on rectangles or squares.